Welcome to iFilm. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. For starters, in building your character, when you took this role, you had never been to Boston. And how much do you feel that the city itself played in building your character and coloring his choices?
Well, certainly Matt Damon and Mark Wahlberg, both being from that area, were extremely insistent upon the accent with me and told me that it's been butchered in films many times in the past and that I better do my homework. So I really, I met a guy from the Southie Projects in Los Angeles that really, told me the story of what it was like there in the late 80s with, this whole sort of underground mob scene, and told me stories about Boston and introduced me to a varied cast of characters when we did go to Boston. So I needed to do that. I'd never been to Boston, never spent any quality time there, so that was a real important part for me as far as the research. But both of them were very supportive, and they told me once you get it down, it'll be easy, but you have to be extremely vigilant about making it a specific Boston accent and being authentically from this place.
Did you have a sense of familiarity with, you grew up in Echo Park, correct? Mm-hmm. Was there some sort of through line for you of your background, where you grew up, and what you
certainly not
or heard about?
Certainly not to this extent. No. I mean, we've all seen fights and violence to a certain degree in our life, but this is taking it to an entirely different extreme. Yeah. Nothing like I've ever experienced. No.
Yeah.
When it comes to smashing people over the head with beer mugs and coat
so
racks.
much, but what about the circumstances where people have a few choices that they feel they can make?
Yeah.
What's laid in front of them, and the choices that they do make that guides.
Well, that's essentially what at the core, that's what the movie is about. And I keep saying this, but it's the truth. It's like Matt Damon's character and my character are almost this conglomerate character. We're both sides we're two sides of the same coin. We're like the dichotomy of what it is to be human. Early choices that we make in our lives that affect our entire destiny, and given a different environment or a different set of circumstances or different people influencing us in life. Who knows? My character could have swapped places with his. And that's what was so interesting about this script. It was almost like one movie split into two halves.
Well, it seemed that your character had to bear the weight of being the conscience to some degree, whereas Matt's character somehow could tell himself that it was all okay.
Yeah.
It seemed that you had this constant weight of the poor choices you've made or the good choices you've made.
And the irony of it is that all our characters are inevitably doomed in the end.
Absolutely.